Hey friend, welcome to Healthy with Heather Brown. If you don't know where to start with balancing being healthy and loving the life you already have, I got you, friend. And yes, of course, we're still going to enjoy some Chick-fil-A. I'm here to come alongside you and encourage you to fall more in love with your creator, your spouse, your kids, and your own health journey. We'll talk about how to let your good things grow until they become daily habits, with the occasional dad joke and point of view from my Yankee hubby, Eric. Don't stress. Let's hop on this Hot Mess Express together. So join me, Heather Brown, as we unpack what it looks like to live a life well loved. Y'all, if you've ever looked up and saw it was 5 o'clock and didn't know what the heck you were going to put in front of your kids for dinner, girl, I feel that. Same here. I used to frantically open up my pantry and freezer just looking for whatever I could throw together. Somehow, I landed a job at a meal planning company and I had to figure it all out. I was taught by the #1 meal planning company in the nation how to write meal plans that are time effective, cost effective, and to help get dinner on the table, period. Over the years, I perfected a system that also makes it healthy. So if you don't know where to start and you feel like you're busting your budget and never know what to eat to be healthy or get your kids to eat it, I've written a comprehensive guide for you and your family. This guide is your quick fix to getting food on the table that's healthy, affordable, and your kids will actually eat. Through simple hacks, tips, worksheets, and more, the ebook speaks to the heart of busy mamas trying to save money, save time, and eat healthy while cultivating special family moments around the table amidst the chaos. With tons of printables, recipes, and shopping ideas, plus my step-by-step strategy that holds your hand as you set up your own meal plan, you will learn how to shop your pantry and plan in the right order. This book has already been a game changer for so many, so visit www.mylifewellloved.com/ebook to grab yours now and use code PODCAST to get 15% off. Question for you, friend. What is the hardest thing that you have done in your parenting journey so far? And or what is the hardest thing you've ever had to do with your husband, or the hardest friendship battle you've been through? Or what is the hardest thing when it comes to your weight or your health or whatever the case may be? I want you to kind of get those things in your mind, and then let's talk about how we tackle those. Oh my gosh. Let's just talk about, first of all, in my headspace right now, I'm really battling the hard thing of trying to figure out how to launch a podcast. So I'm obviously recording this when we're in the thick of podcast recording season. We're gearing up for, all these things, back to school and the boys' birthdays and just life transitions, what that looks like from summer into fall. And we all know as moms that summer to fall transition can sometimes be hard. It just takes a lot of adjusting. Change is hard in general. And so I kind of wanted to just chat with you today about the fact that you can do hard things, mama. I definitely feel like no matter what your season of life, your level of hard obviously looks different. And in college, things are really hard when you're going through exams. And in high school, things are really hard when there's drama with your friend's boyfriend. And in, young working world, it's hard because you're trying to figure out what it looks like to not live next to your best friends all the time. And then you add in getting married and you're trying to figure out the hard of, being with your person in a small environment for the first time, 24/7 pretty much, when you're not at work or out running errands. And there's just hard that comes with that, then let alone the parenting season, which is just a whole nother level. So I kind of thought that it would be neat today to talk about how we use that same determination that we got through with all those other hard things that we've done in our life so far into motivation to take care of your health as well, and to work towards and fight for that health just as much. And I really do think that so much about our health is interconnected, obviously, with our sleep and our stress levels and all these things that are outside factors that truly do affect our overall healthy well-being or the lack thereof. So the biggest thing to me that has been truly a game changer, I think, has been my mindset. Mindset really is one of those things that's a little bit tricky because it's a kind of a little bit of an ambiguous term. And I don't think that, you either choose joy and you choose to have a good attitude, or you choose to, wallow in self-pity or to allow things to overtake you. And there's a really, really delicate balance there. I don't want to say that everything is always rainbows and butterflies. That is certainly not what I'm saying. I've mentioned several times throughout the past several years on Instagram or wherever that one of the things I always heard my dad say and different people in my life, and I've just kind of adopted this phrase, that let's say I got in a fender bender, or let's say that the kids' drop-off time got changed and maybe it's going to interfere with my schedule. I always try to have the mindset, if this is the worst thing that happened to me today, I'm doing okay. And as simple as that sounds, sometimes that little bit of that mindset shift can really help me turn my day around. So when I think about, mindset, a big thing for me is having a strong foundation. And I really learned a lot about mindset through working out, obviously, but then also teaching Pure Barre and learning more about that like mind-body connection. So we'll dive into that a little bit more, but I think that what I want to encourage you most of all is that your mindset is going to be key and kind of learning the things that can help you reset. So it can be the simplest thing. Like for instance, Leighton sometimes at school can get really worked up, and sometimes because he is a people pleaser and he wants to make his teachers or his babysitter or me or whoever happy, he sometimes can internally put a lot of pressure on himself. So one of the things that we've been working with Leighton on is just learning how to step back and breathe. And it sounds so simple, but really just giving yourself the space to cope with that stress is huge. And in fact, I'm kind of preaching to myself, preaching to the choir right now. I'm like, I need to hear this message right now. So with, Leighton, who's 6, the best way that we can explain it to him, and Eric and I work on this all the time, is number one, we always say, if you're not with us, like your teacher or your babysitter or whoever it may be, your grandmother, they're there to help you. So if you ever start to get overwhelmed, we always remind them there's people in your corner. So I think that I haven't even thought about it this in depth myself, but really breaking it down sometimes on that toddler or kid level can help our brains even still process this. And that first key takeaway to remind him and me, and hopefully you guys too, is that you need people in your corner. So you need your lifelines that are kind of going to help you realize like, oh, okay, like I do have someone there to help me, whether it be a friend or a sister or a coworker or your doctor or your gym health coach or whatever it may be, that with whatever you're facing, they can give you sound advice and help kind of pull you back to that ground zero and help you take that next little step to get into your next hard mental roadblock or physical roadblock or whatever it may be. And then the second thing we tell Leighton is to take 3 deep breaths. So we'll say, when you start to get overwhelmed, just stop. You can even put your pencil down if you're working or if you're getting frustrated with toys or, with your brother or whatever the case may be. Like try to put those things down and, take 3 deep breaths, which actually I'm like, let's all do that together, because whether you're in the car or whether, you're listening to this, you get ready for bed, it can't hurt for all of us to do a little de-stressor. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths together. You ready? I want you to put your hand on your heart. And then I want you to take your other hand. I want you to put on your belly. And I don't want you to do shallow breaths. I want you to do really deep breaths. So we're going to inhale through our nose. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale, slow and steady, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to do it 2 more times. So I know it sounds silly, but do it. If you haven't joined me yet, do it. Inhale through your nose. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Slow exhale, 2, 3, 4. Really let it fill up your lungs, first of all, and then fill up your whole diaphragm, your stomach, everything goes out, expands, and then exhale, 2, 3, 4. Isn't it crazy? How do you feel from that first breath you took when you were like, okay, this is kind of dumb, Heather, to now? It really is such a, almost like a, as the word sympathetic system reset. And there's something so powerful in the gift that God gave us of breath. I think you look back at Genesis, like he, formed us out of the dust and he blew breath and life into us. And I just think that that is such a powerful reminder to me each time that I didn't even realize that I need when I take those 3 deep breaths. So it's funny, even in the house, sometimes when Anna Claire and I will get stressed out and we're working through things or whatever, we'll even say to each other, like, it's going to be okay. Take a deep breath. But like, really, do we actually stop and take the 3 deep breaths? Probably not as much as we need to. So that's just a good reminder for myself and also you guys that breath work is powerful and you can truly use that. Just 3 deep breaths. It can take you to such a new level of calm and handling and tackling whatever is in front of you. One thing that I've actually learned in my parenting journey is that I can even say to the boys, like, mommy's going to take a timeout. They're not going to timeout. Mommy's going to timeout. So I can take those 3 deep breaths and kind of recenter and think through, what parenting techniques have I learned? What can I apply in the situation? Pray for guidance, pray for calmness, and then come back to the conversation with them and re-engage when everybody's had time to cool down a little bit. There really is power in that. So then when you apply that to your health cycle and you're setting good things in place, sometimes you just fall off the wagon. And I so get that. Sometimes you're just like, yeah, I haven't worked out in 2 weeks. I don't know what happened. Like, here we are. But we always hear that phrase, never miss a Monday. And while I love that phrase and I certainly am into it, it's one of those things where sometimes though life happens. And I think that really one thing that I was hearing also recently from AC is that there's something new that she's heard that's really been kind of a game changer for her is the 2-day rule, which is basically like, let's say that you're on wanting to hit some calorie or macro goals. Like, don't go over your calorie or macro goals 2 days in a row, or don't miss a workout 2 days in a row. If you need that one day for rest or for mental health or whatever the case may be, and please, everybody, if you work out every day, stop it right now. You need a rest day. Build in a rest day for yourself every single week. And then just having little like sayings or goals or practices like this can be really small things that actually help build up and help you rework your mindset. So again, going back to that powerful mindset, utilizing the tools in your tool belt to help you deal with whatever difficulties that you have, and then applying it into your physical health as well. So obviously you have to find what works best for you and stick to it. Unfortunately, I can't lose the weight for you. I can't lower your blood pressure for you. I can't force you to go to bed and get the good sleep you need. No one can really do that but you personally, which I realize is overwhelming, but also it can make you so stinking proud of yourself when you accomplish those goals. And truly, I always used to say this to my Pure Barre clients when they would walk in the door and they'd be like, I haven't worked out in 3 years, or I haven't been here in 3 weeks on a vacation and I just was scared to come back. And I'll say, well, guess what? You already did the hardest part, and the hardest part was just showing up. So once you show up, your instructor or your, walking buddy or whoever it is going to help you get through the rest of that workout. It really is just the showing up for yourself. Then the next thing is that you have to remind yourself often. And I do mean often, because I know how as women, a lot of times we can talk to ourselves negatively in our head and we don't even realize it. But I want you to even start working on implementing the mindset that you are loved and that you are worthy of good things. So one of my friends actually has told me in the past, I work with a lot of women and I have taught a lot of women in the fitness industry, and I still work out around hundreds of women each week. And so I have had many, many women tell me that they almost feel like they couldn't commit to their health journey because they didn't feel like they deserved it, or they didn't feel like they could ever get to their goal. They didn't feel confident enough in their body to even start. And it's because they are having that root doubt in themselves issue. And so I want to help some of you that maybe you're feeling that, to just feel. So let's talk about that. Why do you feel that way? Maybe part of that mindset is that you sit down and you write down, what are things that you're struggling with in your mind right now? What are things that you're struggling with physically that you really want to overcome, so that you can write them down and date that piece of paper? And then maybe you say, all right, I'm going to start some small goals where for the next 2 weeks, I write down every day, whatever it is you want to choose. Maybe it's that you say, I want to commit to myself that I'm going to walk every day this week. Or maybe you say, I want to commit that I'm going to eat no added sugar this week. Or I'm going to commit that I'm going to drink 8 cups of water every day this week. And you write down at the end of each day how you feel after you've accomplished that goal. Or if you didn't accomplish it, what does it make you feel like? And let's say that, for instance, it does turn negative into negative self-talk because you didn't hit that goal. Okay, write it down. And then as you finish those thoughts, you say, but I'm working on my mindset in this 2 weeks. So how I'm going to turn my mindset around now is to say, tomorrow is a new day. And tomorrow I can get those 8 glasses of water. And I need to remember that I maybe need to set an alarm on my phone so that I have a reminder to make sure that I'm getting that glass every day at my office, or buying straws at the grocery store to help me drink enough water. I know that this is something so simple and so small, but I cannot explain to you the power that staying well hydrated has on your skin, your just overall well-being, your entire digestive tract. Like, you've got to get in enough water so you're not dehydrated and working from a deficit. I have done water challenges year after year with the My Life Well Love community on Instagram. And I actually have a water tracker freebie that I would love for you guys to grab and to go to the website to print it out and use for yourself. And you'll get emails that share my favorite water bottles and my hacks for getting it in and how to make it a habit. So if you go to www.mylifewellloved.com/water-tracker, then you can get that and have it as a resource for you in this healthy mindset journey. And it's so crazy to me how one little goal can actually change everything. So start with the basics. Do you drink water every day? Are you like, yeah, maybe a glass of water? Okay, well then let's work on upping that. And if you're like, Heather, I cannot do 8 glasses of water a day. Like, I have a small frame. I just can't do it. I'm working inside all day. Like, I'm just not thinking about it. Okay, well then start with where you can start at. Can you start with 5 cups of water a day? I'd love for you to work up to 8, but give yourself grace. There is so much power in giving yourself grace and in setting goals and really checking in with yourself and making sure that you are able to tackle those hard things in your health journey. So we talked a little bit about how I want you to remember that you are loved, you're worthy of good things. The Bible tells us that. That is like truth, that the Lord finds value in you. So if the creator of this universe and of every good thing in this world calls you loved and worthy and beautiful and created in his image, you are God's image bearer. Wow. Like, please feel that and let it resonate to your soul, because you do deserve good things. Because when you take care of yourself, you can pour out and love other people well. You can love your people well, and you can serve the Lord in the way that he has called you to walk on this earth. So I definitely want you to fight back that negative talk in every single way that you can, because it's not true. And I don't want you believing those lies about yourself. Okay. So we talked a little bit earlier about a strong support system. And I can't say enough about how important that is. In fact, one of the things that I typically do in every challenge that we do on Instagram or at the gym or whatever the case may be is I always try to find an accountability partner to do it with me. In fact, even when my chiropractor tells me he wants me to do a 45-day cleanse, or when I'm jumping in the next round of fast way to fat loss, or whether I'm wanting to do a Bible study on prayer, or whether I want to do Whole30, whatever it is going to be, no, these are not scientific data facts, but it's got to be close to true, 50 times more effective if you have got somebody in your corner cheering you on. So whether you get your friends on board with you or a neighbor to walk with you every day, just some kind of accountability that helps you stay in that zone of being able to do the hard thing you want to do in your journey, then please make them aware. In fact, when we were getting ready to go on a trip, I talked with my friend and trainer, Megan. She knew that I was trying to cut alcohol because I was really working on leaning out to feel my best and look my best, all the things in our bathing suits for this trip we went on to Cabo. So obviously what's great about her knowing that is then she's not going to suggest when we go out to dinner or catch up that we go out for a margarita or tacos. She's going to say, hey, do you want to get together and, have a glass of tea? Or do you want to get together and go on a walk? Like, she's going to help hold me accountable to those goals. And that is something so incredible to have, like, and somebody to have in your corner. We talk a lot about how Eric is amazing for my accountability. I highly encourage you to work with your spouse on that. Eric and I talk in another episode. Again, I can put it in the show notes about that accountability and how that plays out. But I just think it's so important for your spouse to be aware of what you're working on and how you're working on it. For instance, if he knows I'm doing a cleanse, or maybe he's doing, a cleanse or whatever he's working on, we plan our meals for that week together around those, and we really cheer each other on. He knows that I might need extra sleep one week since I'm doing a big cleanse and I'm low on energy. So he might offer to take the kids out for the morning so that I can sleep in a little bit longer. And that is just invaluable to me. And then last but not least, you work on all these amazing things. You focus on your breathing, you're sharpening your mind, you're working on your mind-body connection, you're working out, you're getting your accountability, you're journaling out how you feel. Like, obviously these are a lot of options that I have laid out today. And I don't think that every single one of you are going to resonate with every single one of them. But I do believe that something that I've said will trigger a thought that you can absolutely utilize it in your tool belt for tackling your health goals. And I just really, really think that if you can work on getting to the gym or walking or getting to a bar class, finding something that sounds fun to you to get active, that absolutely builds your confidence. And confidence is key. When you feel strong, you know that you can tackle things outside the gym and outside your workouts. I always used to, tell my clients, you're working out in here so that you can be strong for what you do outside of here. And it's so true. If I miss days at the gym, I do not feel as confident in myself. I don't feel as strong. And there really is a connection between your strength internally, externally, and with your mind. And I really hope that you guys can take some of these key takeaways and really implement them into your life to help you do those hard things that are ahead of you. So with all that said, of course, once you hit those goals, you should reward yourself. And I think that so often we think that we reward ourselves with a cheat meal or whatever the case may be. But I really have learned a lot through Fast Way to Fat Loss about, every leg day, typically you allow yourself a treat and you work that into your macros so that you don't even have to feel bad about it. Like, you should not feel bad about food. The only thing that's going to make you feel bad about food is when you eat a lot of it and it physically makes you feel bad. You don't want to have low energy all the time because you eat bad food. Like, trust me, I did this to myself last night and I was like, I feel sick. Why did I do that? And sometimes you just, mentally and, for getting out and being with friends or family or date night or whatever, you're going to eat or drink things that don't make you feel great. But let that be a reminder and a catalyst to get back to your health baseline. So if you want to reward yourself with that margarita, or you want to reward yourself with that baby bite from Pastry Art, that's one of my love languages, or you want to reward yourself with a new pair of shoes or a workout outfit, go do it. Do something that makes you feel good when you hit those goals. It's so important. I think a lot of times my personality type is I'm such an achiever that I think like, okay, hit this goal and I'm like running on to the next goal. But it really is so important to take deep breaths, slow down, and really relish those accomplishments, because you doing a glass of water for 2 weeks might be a huge accomplishment for you. So celebrate that somehow. All right, go celebrate yourself, sister. Make some goals. You can do hard things. Get after it. Oh, hey there. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to take a screenshot of your podcast app on your phone, post it to your Instagram stories, and tag me at Healthy with Heather Brown to let me know your favorite takeaway from this episode.